welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jamie. Today we are going to be talking about my March TBR and my book reviews that I had for the month. I am going to add that I was kind of sluggish during this particular TBR only because I felt like I didn't get to choose last month for any of the books because I didn't hardly read any of my February TBR. So I had mostly all romance from the previous month and just a whole bunch of books that were just meh. It was another meh reading month, but I am super excited that I do get to pick a whole bunch of new ones this month. Hopefully we'll have a lot more books next time. We'll see. Starting off, before we get into the reviews, I have a few statistics for the month. Not really baffled me, more like just it was like, okay. My story graph says 7 books. All actuality, it's actually 5 books because I figured out that the 2 from February got latched on to March. Something happened with the dates, so it was including it. It's a whole thing. So there's like 600 less pages on this and 5 books instead of 7. So I have many romances for this month. It was crazy, like all different kinds of romance going on. I am kind of romanced out now at this point. I'm done. I'm ready for thrillers. I'm ready for something different. I am so wanting new books this month. It's crazy. So average rating for this month was a 3.96. Yay. Yeah, popular one was a 4.5. So they were kind of good, kind of not wonderful. I think I only had 1 5-star for the whole month, and it was actually the one I was hoping would be a 5-star. So we're going to get into that a little bit later. My pages fluctuated all over the place for this month. It was crazy. I had an entire week where I didn't read a single thing, and then all of a sudden I started going up again, and then I read a whole book in a whole day. It's crazy. I do have a few updates as far as regarding what I'm going to be reading and some things that I've been working on that I realized that I just don't want to work on. One of them, I don't want to do challenges anymore. It is hard enough with me just picking a book and reading it all the way through with having to work, with having to take care of the animals, with everything that's going on. I don't like doing the challenges. I don't like feeling I have to pick a specific book. I figured that out doing this. I was already iffy because I've tried doing some in the past and I've just forgot about them. I thought I just wasn't dedicated. But that's not the problem. The problem is I just don't want to do them. I think it's unnecessary, in my opinion, to do the kind of challenges. Maybe if you've read so much you just don't know what to read anymore, or you want to spice things up, it makes sense, but not for me. I don't enjoy doing them. So I am dropping like 3 different challenges that I was in the middle of, and just, we're done. They're done. I'm not doing them anymore. I do have a new video coming up. This one I was debating when to film this because there's so many, and I do have my birthday coming up in like 2 weeks. So I was debating whether or not to include that haul in the video or just make a completely different haul video for that. But I decided that's what I'm going to do, is I'm just going to go do my birthday haul and then smush everything up together from February, March, and April book haul. It is going to be huge because I have inherited so many books this month. It's insane. So without further ado, we are going to get into our book reviews for the month of March. First one I read and finished was Deep End by Ellie Hazelwood. She is a 4.25. I really enjoyed it. I love the fact that Check and Mate didn't ruin the rest of her books for me. This is her newest one, just came out in February. So this story is about 2 characters. We have Scarlett. She is a platform diver. She is recovering from a head, shoulder, and back injury that she did during a bad dive, and she's kind of going through recovering from that. Not only that, but she is also trying to get into med school because she wants to do what her stepmother is doing, and got really into that, so that's what she wants to do. Then we also have Lucas. He is an Olympic gold medalist, and he is the swim captain for the school. So their story starts when they have a mutual friend, and she thinks that, you know, Scarlett and him should date and do other things. I'm trying to keep it as PG as possible on here, because this is a very spicy book. Very spicy book. So much so that I actually got bored at the end of the book. Yeah. I got tired of the spice scenes. I was getting very numb to it, and towards the end I was just like, can we please just end this? Please. There is a little Easter egg in there from a previous book that she has written. I freaked out so bad when I realized who they were actually talking about. So I was so happy about that. I do appreciate the fact that, I mean, I gave it a 4.5. So yeah, I kind of got a little bored towards the end, but the plot lines, the background of the whole thing, learning about the diving world and the swimming world, as well as getting into the science stuff like we did with the first two that I read from her, I loved it. I did love it. Like I said, it just dragged. I felt like it could have been like 100 pages shorter and could have been wrapped up a little bit differently. I think it was too long. And no problem with the story, and no problem with the characters. I really enjoyed reading it, but towards the end of the 100 pages, that's when I started losing interest, and I felt like it just needed to be wrapped up sooner, and there was some scenes that could have just been left out altogether. So, very good description of the story, and this is a very good description. It's pretty much a 50 Shades of Grey in college. So if you guys liked 50 Shades of Grey, I think you guys are gonna like this. So that's all I have to say about that one. Next one we get into was my only 5-star for the month, and that was The Stolen Queen by Fiona Davis. I was so happy. This book was everything I wanted it to be and more. I learned so much from this. It rekindled my love for Egyptology. I really enjoyed this. So this is about Charlotte and Annie. Charlotte was there in Egypt in 1936, and she discovered something that could possibly change like everything they know about a certain pharaoh. So Charlotte was there in Egypt, and then she migrated. She became the associate curator for the Met Museum over in New York. So, and that is where she met Annie. Annie is she has so many struggles that she has to deal with every single day, but she gets the opportunity to start working for a fashion designer that is over at the Met Museum at the moment, because they're working on a gala for the museum to raise funds for it and get people to, get anticipated for the new, what's the word for that? Oh my god. I had it. It's not scenes, it's exhibits. Thank you. They're opening up a few new exhibits, the King Tut, I believe, and they're getting preparation for that. A couple things happen in sequence leading up to the gala that sets the scene for the whole rest of the book. And during that time, we get a heist that steals one of the artifacts from the museum, and Charlotte is bound and determined. She's like, I want to find out some answers because I think I know what is going on here. And then Annie, she wants to learn more about this. She's loved Egyptology forever, and she feels a connection with Charlotte. She wants to help her out. So that's where the story takes off. I'm trying not to give too much away, but the synopsis gives so much away. I was actually kind of disappointed in the synopsis because it pretty much told the whole story. So don't read the synopsis. Just know that's all you need to know about the Egyptology part, is that something got stolen, they went to go recover it. End of story. So I love the atmosphere in this. It was a whole different feeling for the whole story. I absolutely loved it. You don't get that feeling from books very often, like you felt like you learned something, but not only that, you feel like it wrapped everything up with a pretty little bow. We had the mystery aspect of things, we had a romance aspect, we had The historical, 100% was wonderful. And we also had some suspenseful moments in here, so I really, really enjoyed this. I was envious of how much research she had done. This took a lot of research, not only with the pharaohs, but also with how certain things work, the museums, all that fun stuff. Turns out she did actually base this off an actual heist that happened at the museum, just didn't happen the way that the book happened, if that makes sense. So I liked learning about that as well. Other than that, 5 stars. I loved it. Now we start getting into the nitty-gritty things. So the next one I read was The Right of Way by Lauren Barnholdt. This is the second book in the duology of Two-Way Street. I loved Two-Way Street. I thought it was a really good story. I loved the suspense, the drama, the romance, everything about it. I loved it. I did not know this wasn't about the same couple. This is about a different couple. This is Peyton and Jace versus Jordan and Courtney. Jordan and Courtney were in the Two-Way Street. We get a whole different couple. So I was shocked by that. At first I didn't remember, and then I looked back and got curious. I'm like, yeah, okay, it's not the same 2 people. Compared to the first book, this was a 3. Peyton, most of the plot revolves around Peyton, and I get that they're in high school, starting to, they're at their graduation tail end of it. But let me tell you, these 2 were so immature. To the extent of I skipped like a good 70 to 50 pages just to get to the end of the story, and it wasn't even that good. I'm like, you guys are immature, you're fickle, you don't talk about your feelings. I was bored. Yes, she has some things that are going on that do pertain to the story that not a lot of people have to go through, but from Jace's perspective, he's trying to be logical about this, and then she's so out of her mind, she's being fickle, and then he doesn't try to make it better. He kind of just goes with the flow, and but this story is technically about them traveling from Florida, from the wedding that they were just at, to Connecticut, where she lives, but she actually wants to be dropped off in North Carolina because she wants to run away. So that's pretty much the whole premise of the story, because there is nothing more to add to that. That's pretty much all it was. And I was very bored. I was very aggravated for more than half of it. And they were just... I didn't miss too much when I skipped. So to me, this was... I won't be keeping it. I will keep the first one. I did enjoy the first one. I really liked it, but I did not like that one at all. So, next one was the book that I read for an entire day. So I read 140 pages one day, and then I picked it up a few days later, and I ended up reading the rest of the 417 pages that I had. And then I watched the movie afterwards. So, I have both opinions on those. And that is 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. You know what's funny? I did read this when I was 16, 17. Looking back on everything, I crack up about it now because I remember being scared in this situation, kind of like how Anna is in this book. And looking at it back now, I have a whole new perspective on it. So, for those of you who don't know and have never heard of 50 Shades of Grey before, which... congratulations to you, because unfortunately I think everyone's at least heard of the movie, if not the book. But in case you haven't, this story is about Anastasia and Christian. Anna, she was substituting for her roommate for an interview that she had with Christian Grey, which is also the one other character in the story. He is a billionaire. He, does a lot of things for people. And for the world, he's trying to, make a difference, and he runs his company very, very nicely. So that's what the interview was about. Well, he ended up really, really liking her and wanting to get to know her a little bit better, and they go on a couple meet dates, all that kind of stuff. And then we get into the main reason why he wants to hang out with her is because he is a dominant and he's looking for a sub. If you guys don't know what that means, good for you. Stay innocent, please. For those of you who know what that means, you know what's coming. So, they move through the introduction period and all the ups and downs about that kind of a relationship, and I loved it. I really, really did love it. I gave this one a 4.5 because I only gave it a 4.5 because it was the same situation as Deep End. I didn't realize it the first time I read it because I think I was just so full of adrenaline that I kind of just ignored it. But it was the same situation as Deep End. It was just too long. I felt like some scenes could have been shortened, but not very many of them because a lot of them do pertain to things that happen later in the book. So when you're 17 and you're 16, you kind of have this whole perspective. You're scared. You don't know what's going on. You don't know how to be in this kind of relationship. And now looking at it, it's like I'm looking at his perspective a lot more than hers. He was so patient with her in dealing with all of this. He was just so patient with her. Like, so patient with her, trying to make sure she was comfortable, making sure that she was okay with certain things. And he just wanted to be with her. It was a cute story. Now, putting that away, for the movie, I hated it. I liked it to an extent. Dakota did a wonderful job. I think the character that Dakota played was awesome. She did such a good job playing Anastasia. It couldn't have been better. Christian, on the other hand, he could have been way better. The movie did Christian dirty to the extent where I think it ruined his character outlook in the movie. You know, in the book, he was all smiles. He was laughing at some of the things that she was doing and some of the things they were doing together. He was very affectionate towards her. He was very cautious about what he was doing. In the movie, you don't get any of that hardly at all. You only get like a small moment of it later on in the movie. But he didn't smile. He didn't like laugh. He hardly did anything. It made him seem like an a-hole. And that's not how he was supposed to be portrayed. Because that kind of sets up the mood for the whole rest of the series. And I felt like the movie just really ruined his character. So, for those of you who have not seen it, actually, no. For those of you who have seen the movie and have not read the book, go read the book. Because so many things are explained that are not explained in the movie. They cut out certain scenes that I think needed to be put in there to make it not seem so bad. Because it seems bad when you're looking at it from that kind of a perspective and you don't have any backstory. And it could have been way better. I gave the movie like a 2.5 just because I didn't like how they did it. I think his character could have been completely different and it would have been wonderful. Would have been 100% better than what I watched. I don't even want to watch the rest of the movies, but I am curious to see how the rest of the series goes because I haven't touched any of them. I read the book once, didn't watch the movie, read it again. Now that I watched the movie, I am so curious to see how the rest of the series goes. So we shall see. Moving on to our last book that I rated for this month is In a World Just Right by Jen Brooks. I have had this on my shelf. I have had this on my shelf for at least 5 years. And I gave it a 2. I've been holding on to a 2-star book. So, getting into this, for those of you who have not heard of it, because I know a lot of people haven't. This is a story about Jonathan and Kaale. Jonathan, I don't even know, okay? And this is where it lost me. In the beginning, it is not clear if the creating the worlds portion, which they do describe, like he creates worlds and he goes into them and lives out, you know, his fantasies. They didn't say if that was metaphorically or literally. And if they did, they didn't get into it much. So I was very confused to the point where I just didn't want to read it because it wasn't done well enough. And Kaale, apparently, he tries kissing her in real life, not in his fantasy, accidentally. And she starts obsessing about him because she never knew he existed, and all of a sudden he exists. Why would you want to obsess over somebody who tried to kiss you when you didn't even know they existed? It was very confusing. I think the concept 100% could have been better had they explained it a little bit more and executed better. So they need to explain the world building a lot more to me because I got so confused on this whole thing, and I didn't want to read something that I was confused on from like the first 15 pages. So this was my DNF for the month because I just didn't get along with it. The only other one that I started for this month, I didn't include it because I started it, hence the start, was Court of Wings and Ruin. We are 100 pages. We are 100 pages in on this, and I'm already loving it. This review is gonna be on my April one because this is at least gonna take me a week to get through. It took me a week to get through A Court of Mist and Fury, so that one will be on April's review. I am loving it so far. That is all I have for today. Those are my book reviews for the month of March. I am so ready to pick some new books because that was so hard to get through. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. That would help me bring you guys more videos every week because I do intend on getting more back into that instead of twice a month, excuse me. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your month. I know everybody's been sick and having a rough start to their year. Every YouTuber I know of has had problems starting out this year. I don't know what it is, but something about this year just started badly for everybody, and we're just making it through at this point. So if I don't have many videos after this, we're still trying to make it through. And I also have my birthday month this month. I am super excited. Love your reads and drink your teas, and I'm gonna go read some more. Bye!